Hey guys, welcome on in to another episode, Getting Well with Terry and Friends, MLB Trends and Betting Picks. I'm Terry, ready to break down some MLB games today. We'll be going over all my player props for the day in today's games. Of course, we'll break down what happened on the last show first, and a no NHL show today. It's two games, not on any props as of yet. Bit of a slow start this morning, so no NHL show today, but we'll have one again tomorrow. But we'll jump into Friday slate and take a look at what happened in Major League Baseball. And Toronto is banned. The Blue Jays are banned. No player props for me from them for a while. Just nobody's hitting consistently right now for the Jays. They're just having trouble. All their top batters are all below 200, and the Jays are just having a rough start. Now, of course, they started every game so far on the road and have faced some good teams. So you could use those as excuses, but I'm not going to. We'll see how they do at home today in their first home game of the season. So both of those props were losers. Justin Turner didn't get a hit at all. Davis Schneider, unfortunately, didn't get a home run, but when you're betting plus 800 player props, you can't expect them all to cash, unfortunately. Here in this game between the Dodgers and the Cubs, Mookie Betts, sorry, as about my picture there. Mookie Betts over 1.5 bases, plus 110. Did not cash. He didn't get a home run either. His hot streak to start the season has come to an end. He's cooled off. Freddie Freeman over 1.5 bases also did not cash. Not the best game from him. Will Smith did cash his over 1.5 bases plus 125. Max Muncy did not. So a bad game by the Dodgers against the Cubs in that one. Over 8. Shockingly lost. Aaron Nola pitched a gem, and Corbin did give up some hits, but obviously not enough to cash the over. Bohm, who had a lot of success against Corbin, only able to get one hit in this game, so that was a bit unfortunate. Bryson Stott, he got a hit and a run, so he cashed that prop, and JT Realmuto hit his over 1.5 bases, so we cashed that one. Plus 130. Realmuto off to a great start this season. Houston Astros and Texas Rangers. Corey Seager got a double in the first inning, which cashed his bases nice and easy. Marcus Semien, I believe, had 3 or 4 hits in the game, so no doubter there. Both players cashing their over 1.5 bases. Easy money there in that game. Seattle Mariners, Milwaukee Brewers. Christian Yelich decided to hit a home run. I think it was in the 5th or 6th inning, which cashed this one, plus 135. He's also had a great start to the season. And then the parlay of the day, unfortunately, lost because of Alec Bohm. And no more parlays of the day in MLB for a bit. Just for a bit until we get back on track. And then we'll get the parlay of the days back and going in the MLB. Terry, ... Hello, Timothy. Hope all is well. Good afternoon, Terry. To you as well, Link. Hope all is going well. Cubs got bats, y'all. Always consider their team total, run scored, or the game over versus pitching matchups, especially hitter-friendly parks like Wrigley. Yes. The Cubs they've been good. They have been good in some games. The one game that I went with a few of the props against with them, they of course didn't do anything, but they've been up and down team so far. But 4 games to talk about today. 4 games that I'm really interested in. Starting with this one here, which is between the Milwaukee Brewers and Cincinnati Reds, division rivals facing off for the first time this season. Milwaukee minus 101 to minus 110. Cincinnati minus 107 to minus 112. 9.5. So it looks like there is a 9 available here in this game. And of course, I do have my 3 premium sides on the site, but no, that's it. I only have 3 sides on today's slate. So those are available up in the site. Link is in the description below. But when it comes to this game here, there's 2 player props I absolutely love here in this one. William Contreras, over 1.5 bases, plus 100. Why are we taking him? Well, back-to-back games, he's got at least 2 bases. He is 5 for 8 against Graham Ashcraft in his career with 1 double and 1 home run. So he has hit Ashcraft pretty well. And then on the season, 12 for 31 with 3 doubles and 2 home runs so far this year. So he's having a great season so far. He's had some success against Ashcraft. Jackson Chourio, he's got a hit in 7 of his last 8 games. So he is someone that I would look at for a parlay piece. Ellie De La Cruz had his hit streak end. He had one in all 8 games this season, and I believe even games last season as well. He had been on a hit streak. Unfortunately, that came to an end in his last game. He does still have a hit in 8 of his last 9 games. So I'd look at him for a parlay piece. But Spencer Steer, over 1.5 bases, plus 130. He's got at least 2 bases in 7 of his 9 games this season. So Spencer Steer continues to play very well. He's 1 for 1 against Aaron Ashby. So plus 130 is great value for something that he's done in 7 of his 9 games this season. So we'll take Spencer Steer over 1.5 bases, William Contreras over 1.5 bases, and then other players to look at would be, as I said, Jackson Chourio and then Ellie De La Cruz for each team here. When it comes to the side in this game, it's very tough. The Brewers have got off to a great start this season, 6-2. I don't trust Aaron Ashby. I do trust Graham Ashcraft more, but I think this is too close to call. So that's why I don't have a side in this one, because I think it's too close for me. Miss Letty likes Reds minus 2.5. I hope you win, because I do like this Reds team. And we are definitely going to be backing this Reds team quite a bit this year. Tim likes Brew Crew money line. All right. Robert likes the Brewers as well. All right. Not buying the Reds hype yet. Well, that's fine. They were very good the second half of last year. Didn't quite make the playoffs, but they are going to be a very good team. And I'm going to make a ton of money on them when it's the right spot. Don't know if this is it. I did Brewers money line and Pirates minus 1.5. We'll be talking about the Pirates game in just a few moments here. Game 1 or game 2 goes over total. Poor Brewers lost their bullpen to free agency. Yeah, Brewers lost quite a few players last year and still got off to a nice 6-2 start. So they're not auto fades, but they're not an auto back team either. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how they do going forward. Looking at our next game, we've got the Detroit Tigers and the Pittsburgh Pirates here. Detroit plus 105 to plus 113. Pittsburgh minus 122 to minus 125. 8s right across the board in this one. On the mound for Detroit, Reese Olson. Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh. Mitch Keller has not got off to the best start this season. Reese Olson pitched pretty well in his first game. 3 hits, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, no runs. But he did face the Mets, and the Mets offense is not that good. And what we've seen from this Pittsburgh Pirates team is that they do have a good offense this year. Pittsburgh cashing back-to-back games where they had the bases loaded at the end of the game and they cashed the play for me. I had the over 8.5 in the game against Baltimore on Saturday, and it got there. And then I had Pittsburgh Pirates money line yesterday. Of course, bases loaded, and then they ended up getting the walk-off win. So I'm enjoying betting on this Pirates team so far this year, and they kind of did the same thing last year where they got off to a great start, and then the second half um, they just didn't have it. So we'll see if they can keep this going all year long. Here, the Tigers 6-3 on the season, Pittsburgh 8-2, and Pittsburgh's won all three series they played in, including the series against Baltimore. Detroit's had some more easier opponents so far. But in this game, we're going with O'Neal Cruz over 1.5 bases plus 130. And I do lean with Pittsburgh to win this game. I just don't trust Mitch Keller right now. But I do lean with Pittsburgh. Why are we taking O'Neal Cruz? He's got at least 2 bases in 4 games in a row. He's been one of their consistent hitters this season. So we'll take him to get 2 bases here in this game. Michael A. Taylor, he's got a hit in 7 of his last 8 games. So if he plays, he hasn't played obviously every game. I was intending on taking him, I believe on Saturday or Sunday he didn't play. So if he is in the lineup, his hit prop is a good parlay piece. Gio Urshela has a hit in 5 of his last 6 games for Detroit. But this Tigers team doesn't have a very good offense. Detroit's going to win games with their pitching if their pitching stays healthy. Of course, Reese Olson on the mound here, not one of those main starting pitchers that Detroit has. Raise a Jolly Roger. Again, Nick was on Pittsburgh with me as well yesterday. Pirates are the Flyers of baseball. Hot start, fall apart late. They did the same thing last year. So Pittsburgh, that is, Philadelphia was not good last year. But yeah, I'll back them when the time's right. I don't quite feel comfortable backing them in this game. So, but I do. We'll back O'Neal Cruz. Maybe the Pirates team total over, depending on what it has, what it looks like, and definitely Pittsburgh live. If the Pirates are down by 1 towards the end of the game, they're definitely a team that I feel comfortable with from what I've seen this year, with backing them live. They've had good comebacks this year, so they will be a team I look at to bet live in this game if they are down by 1 or 2 towards the end of the game. Next up, we'll be talking about the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. The Mets plus 170 to plus 190. Atlanta minus 200 to minus 218. Tens pretty much right across the board. Power play has a 9.5 available in this one here. On the mound for the Mets, Julio Teheran, former Atlanta Brave. He played most of his career with Atlanta. Charlie Morton starting for the Braves on the mound in this one. Right off the bat, the most consistent Mets player has been Brett Baty recently. A hit in 7 of his last 9 games. He's 2 for 3 against Morton. So I would look at Brett Baty for a New York Mets prop. But my play here in this one is Marcell Ozuna over 1.5 bases plus 100 in this one. He's got a hit in 7 games in a row, at least 2 bases in 3 of his last 4. And he's 19 for 54 against Teheran with 3 doubles and 4 home runs. So he's had some success against Teheran. He's having a great season so far. So we'll take him over 1.5 bases here in this one at plus 100. Jared Kelenic, if he's playing, is a good hit parlay piece. A hit in 7 of his last 8 games. Michael Harris has a point. See, I'm thinking about hockey. He's got a hit in 6 of his last 8 games. So he is someone else to look at here in this game. Over 10. I've already penciled in 4 losses for the Mets next 4 games. They don't win in Atlanta. All right. Well, over 10 sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Ew, Mr. DUI. Hey, uh, people make mistakes. Kalenic was a Mets draft pick, part of the Diaz trade, for your information. Oh, wow. Well, interesting. Well, he's got off to a great start with Atlanta this season. And then I do agree with what Nick's saying about the over with Taharon here. He had some great seasons with Atlanta. Um, he had 11 starts in last year, 4.40 ERA. And then in 2020, he had 9 starts, 0-4 record with a 10.05 ERA. So uh, hasn't had much success in recent years, Taryn. So we'll see if the Braves can hit him up here in this one. But the last game we're going to be talking about is the LA Dodgers and the Minnesota Twins. In this game, the Dodgers -130 to -135, Minnesota +114 to +120, 8.5s right across the board in this game. Minnesota has the advantage here when it comes to rest. Obviously, their game got rained out yesterday, so they didn't have to play. This Dodgers team started the game and then had rain delay and then had to continue the game. And then they had to travel to Minnesota. So, right off the bat here, it is a scheduling advantage for Minnesota. James Paxton was fantastic in his first start. Bailey over 0-1 with a 54.00 ERA. Of course, he's not going to have a 54 ERA the whole season. That is going to dramatically fall down. But he had a nightmare start in his first game. Now looking to bounce back against this Dodgers offense. And when you're looking to bounce back after a bad first start, this is probably the last team that you want to see here. But we're not talking about the side or total because I don't have a side or total play here in this game. Obviously, seeing the Dodgers at -130 is very attractive to me. I want to bet them. But as I said, this is a huge scheduling spot for Minnesota, who has the advantage here. But we are taking 2 Dodgers player props. Will Smith over 1.5 bases, +110. He's done that in 5 of his last 7 games. And then Shohei Ohtani is heating up 4 games in a row with at least 2 hits. So if he gets 2 hits, that cashes that bet. If he gets a double in one of those hits, that cashes the bet right away. So we just need 2 bases from him. He is 1 for 2 against Bailey over so far. So we'll take Ohtani here. Carlos Correa, he's got a hit in 3 games in a row, 11 for 27 with 4 doubles against James Paxton. Carlos Santana has been absolutely fantastic against James Paxton, but Santana has not played well at all this year. So, yes, I look at it when a player does very well against a certain pitcher, and I believe he's like 5 for 6. So it's something crazy like that. But he is just not hit this year. So not enough for me to pull the trigger on him. We'll go with Will Smith and Shohei Ohtani in this one. 20s +116 and over 8.5. All right. Dodgers first 5 money line. Interesting. They do have the pitching advantage, and they do have the hitting advantage. They are the better team. So they have all that going for them. The only thing they don't have going for them is the situational spot. So we'll see if they can overcome that early. Dodgers first 5 or Astros first 5? What do you think? Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Storage Club. Let's see here. If I had to choose, that's a tough. That is a tough choice. If I had to choose, I would go with the Dodgers first 5. If I had to choose one of those two, it would be Dodgers first five. Um, the Astros coming off a win yesterday against the Rangers, but and they do have Framber Valdez on the mound against Andrew Heaney, but Heaney Valdez did not have much success against the Rangers last year. Heaney had more success against Houston, so I wouldn't look at Houston in this game, to be honest. Dodgers have a shaky bullpen. Dodgers win mostly on bats and their new aces alone. There we go. I can agree with that. Salute, Terry. Hey, Kev. Hope all is well. But that's it. That is today's show. Looking at other players, I'll go up to the top. Games that we didn't talk about, players that I would look at. Alec Bohm, he didn't cash for us last time, but he does have success against Mikolas, 6 for 9 with 2 doubles and a home run. He's got a hit in 2 of his last 3 games, so he is someone that I would look at. Bryce Harper, a hit in 5 games in a row. He's 6 for 18 against Mikolas. Jose Altuve, a hit in 10 games in a row. He is 13 for 39 against Heaney with 4 doubles and 2 home runs. As Altuve doing very well right now. Jared Walsh, he's for Texas. He's got a hit in 7 of his last 8 games. He's 5 for 12 against Valdez with 2 doubles and 2 home runs. So Altuve and Walsh, 2 players I would look at for both teams. The Diamondbacks and Rockies, unfortunately, because Arizona is in Colorado, their props are all extremely overpriced. Where that I can't. You have to take over 1.5 bases as a parlay piece. Ketel Marte over 2.5 bases is plus 110. So you could potentially look at that. He's 17 for 45 with 5 doubles, a triple, and 3 home runs against Kyle Freeland. So you could look that way. But that's basically it for player props here. Logan Oha has been absolutely fantastic for the Angels, but he is over 6 against Zach Eflin. So I would stay away from him. That's about it. That is about it here. Texas wins tonight's split. All right. If they do, they'll win the series 3-1. Cleveland Indian Guardians bats to destroy the White Sox pitching today. Oh yeah, you fixed it. Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. White Sox and Cleveland. Yeah, both pitchers have got off to awful starts. Tristan McKenzie is one pitcher that I try to stay away from his games. Because he has the potential to be lights out and almost throw a no-hitter, but then he has other games where he gets absolutely lit up. So not a pitcher that I want to go near, and 2 offenses that I don't want to go near either as well. So thanks, Terry. No problem, on. Thanks for watching. Cleveland team total. Maybe, but I don't love that game at all. But that's today's show. We'll be back tomorrow with an NHL and an MLB show, so stay tuned to that. Lots of games tomorrow to talk about. So we will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Best of luck on your bets tonight, and we'll see you guys in the next show.